Thing with the players being out there for the for the national anthem and the flag and all that, that started less than 10 years ago.
Shit, man, that's what black people need to do. Just wrap up in a flag, man. That'd be like our cloak of invisibility. Shit, man, we get pulled over. The police.
If you shoot me, you shoot the flag.
Just be holding the flag hostage and shit. I swear, back the fuck up, man. Man, look, I tried. At the request of those assholes out there, I've tried. Oh, I don't like listening to y'all talk about politics because I disagree with you. You don't know what you're talking about. So YouTube gets all hung up and they get all feisty and everything. I just stay away from it. But today, of all days, we cannot avoid talking about the master in chief, Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump, this man never goes a day without causing waves.
Well, he can't stand to not be talked about.
That's the truth right there. That is that, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Now, here's the thing. Before we even get into it, I just want to let y'all know that I'm not just some guy who blindly wants to dislike our president. I even agree on some things the Republican Party is talking about. This whole thing with health reform, it does need reform. Not like they want it, but it does need it. I get that. We can, there's some things that we can see eye to eye. We just work together on. But that's the problem with Trump right here. Even though I disagree with him, and sometimes I agree with him on some things, I think it's safe to say that Trump is a piece of shit president, and I'd say that proudly.
You sure?
Trump, and I say that proud because Trump.
I disagree because I think he's more of a piece of shit human being.
Yeah, I ain't never hung with him. I ain't never went out and grabbed pussy with him or anything. So, so I don't know. I don't know him as a human being, but as a president,
just even as a human being, names one good thing he's done.
Oh, fuck.
Okay. TikTok.
Shit, man, we don't have that much time on this show. We got guests. I'm trying to say I never liked his shows. I don't buy his products. I don't know.
When he makes a guest appearance in a movie, you're like, okay, let's move on past this.
Now you guys aren't Trump supporters or anything, are you? Okay, all right. I just want to make sure. Now here's the thing with Trump. The reason why I say it about Trump, I'm not just coming in and just trying to be mean, but this man is Trump's like a broken calculator. All he can do is divide. Nothing that he has ever done has ever, with all the speeches that he's given, every time he's come out and spoke to people, every time he's done an interview during his presidency, he has never done anything to try to unify anybody.
No.
Every time he talks, every time he gives a speech, at least one person is getting a fuck you.
Pretty much. Yeah.
These people over here are fine.
Yeah.
But fuck you. I'm about these people here, but fuck you.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. Name one time he ain't never. One time he almost got there. He almost got there. America, the world, we must come together, but fuck that asshole over there.
Sure.
He ain't never went by and done that. And I'm going to tell you something. This man, it's his ego that's getting him where he is. It's not like he's dumb. It's not like he's like he's ignorant. He's doing it because of his ego. Because when you go out there and you say, fuck that person, you get applause. You get cheap applause from people. This man here is out here doing what he's doing because he's more of an entertainer than he is a president. And we all know this, but it's becoming more and more obvious now that he really doesn't give a shit about being president, and he wants the adoration more from people. This man, he has never called out racism, and he has never called out ignorance in his support base. He always plays up to them because they're the ones that are going to give him the applause and the adoration that he wants.
He's all about the likes. Because he's already a billionaire, so there's no reason for him to take the job as president except he needed more likes.
Exactly. This man has never tried to be presidential since he's been here. God damn it. Ronald Reagan made a movie with a chimp, and he at least tried to be somewhat of a president. Bedtime for Bonzo.
Yeah.
And
it makes you look back at all the presidents you didn't like and go like, well, they weren't that bad.
Yeah. And of course, we're talking about him today because of his words that he has said going after the NFL. Of course, this all started with Colin Kaepernick, who worked for at one time the Kansas City Chiefs. Now he can't get a job because he's out there being so un-American, unpatriotic. And that's what Trump has grasped on now. not only to like deflect attention away from the failing healthcare bill that's out there, because even Republicans are now like saying, look, man, you said you're going to do something. You ain't doing shit.
Well, yeah, well, they're stuck because they said they were going to get rid of it and replace it. They don't have a replacement, but people are saying, hey, you say you're going to get rid of it. Other people are saying like, man, if you get rid of that, we're screwed, and we're going to screw you back.
Oh, yeah. And now he needs to do something. You know, whenever he's getting criticized for one thing, I want you to notice, whenever he gets criticized for one thing, he'll go after some cheap target just so he can get people riled up again.
He just wants to win.
Yeah. And that's what he's doing this weekend when he went after the NFL. Not only the NFL, not only Colin Kaepernick, but also the rest of those un-American, unpatriotic sons of bitches.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired.
Damn, you can't come up with nothing else?
I know, still using that same tired catchphrase.
God damn, you know, you can't use the weakest link or something. You know? But using that, you're fired. That show ain't even on no more. And notice how when he gets the applause from people, he just soaks it in.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just sad.
Am I right, huh? You know what I mean? Look at this guy. This is Def Comedy Jam. This ain't the fucking presidential delivery. This man right here loves to say whatever it takes, no matter how much it divides the country, and he'll go after the cheapest, most petty things to get it. And that's what's happening with this NFL right here. And it's funny, too, because let Obama have come out and said, sons of bitches. Oh. Mr. President, I defended you. You know, some people be like, I knew it. That ghetto's coming out. It was only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Y'all know, there ain't no way Obama could have got away with over half of the shit this man does. And now this whole thing has sparked out a huge outcry from all the players out there. And rightfully so. They're like, man, you picking on the NFL and saying it's un-American when it's our right to do what we're doing now.
Sure.
You know, LeBron James just came out. I like LeBron James' comment. He just pretty much said, you're a bum.
Well, yeah, that was from him. He took back Steph Curry's invitation to the White House after Steph Curry already said he didn't want to go.
Yeah, that's what LeBron said. LeBron's like,
you can't quit, you're fired.
Yeah.
No, I quit first.
You can't fire me. I quit. You bum. He says, Stephen Curry already said he ain't going, so therefore ain't no invite. Going to the White House was a great honor until you showed up. You know what I mean? These guys, you've never seen people lash out the president as much as they have right now. Maybe Bush.
Yeah, they did with Bush, but, you know, Bush, and, you know, you never think you're going to hear somebody say it, but Bush was classy enough to just ignore it.
Yeah.
Keep on going. To recognize, like, okay, this is how they feel. I got a bigger job to do. I'm not going to get embroiled in all that.
Oh, that's because they gave him something to play with. Here's a coloring book. Oh, boy. What are they saying about me now? Oh, they say you're great. You know, great. Look at me. I'm Superman.
He wasn't on Twitter. He was on Twitter dropping diss tracks every week.
You know, and here's the thing. I'm going to get into not only this discussion right here, but this whole thing of protesting with sports, because every time it happens, everybody acts like it's something new. And it's not anything new. This is something that's been happening for years, decades, maybe a century up to this point. And people want to always act like, oh, this is the new thing, and these are the new assholes. Mm-hmm. These are the new un-Americans right here, or wherever you're from. We'll talk about that in a little while. But I really get upset when everybody talks about disrespecting the flag.
Yeah. It's a flag.
It's
fucking cares.
The flag is a piece of cloth. You can't say, like, none of these people. Trump can't say a word about police brutality, but you mess with that flag. And all these other people out there talking about. I was looking at something with Tucker Carlson. Look at him talking about. I understand you got problems. I understand you're dying, but why you got to involve the flag? Flag ain't done shit to you.
If you've got a problem with a specific case of what you think is police brutality, I'm all ears. They were told to attack a symbol of the United States itself. And I don't know why you would ever tell kids to do that.
You know, you can't say nothing to hurt that flag's feelings. You can't even get a smudge on that flag without it being offensive. But let a Negro catch a bullet. Well, you know how you are. You probably did something.
Mistakes happen.
The flag didn't say shit to nobody, but you people, you know how you are. Mm-hmm. You know, this is ridiculous, man. What's going on with people who are looking at this flag and taught never to question, because that's what it is. If you want to know why they're kneeling for the flag right now, if you want to know why people are talking about not standing for the national anthem, it's because that's become somewhat of a hypocrisy itself. It's saying equality, it's saying, justice for all people. It's saying, everybody has an equal opportunity, and they don't.
Right.
And to sit up here, it's not so much against the flag, but the falsehoods that it stands for.
Well, also the whole thing with the players being out there for the national anthem and the flag and all that started less than 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, I know. And you know what? Hold that thought, because I think I know what you're talking about. Shit, man, that's what black people need to do. Just wrap up in a flag, man. That'd be like our cloak of invisibility. Shit, maybe we get pulled over the police.
If you shoot me, you shoot the flag.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. I can't get him.
Just be holding the flag hostage and shit. I swear, back the fuck up, man.
Oh, let him go.
Flag is like, he'll do it, man. This Negro's crazy.
If you ain't had that flag, though. Ooh.
Yeah. Shit, the cops pull us over, they'd be like, oh, shit, I'm sorry, Mr. Flag, sir. Didn't know it was you. You can go. And they always talk about disrespecting veterans. Well, all the veterans that died and you're disrespecting them. I tell you what, if a veteran died protecting our rights and we can't even kneel, that veteran died for nothing.
Yep.
And I love these people that talk about veterans. Oh, you dishonoring veterans. You don't do shit for veterans. When the last time you've been to the fucking VA hospital, the VA system to help somebody out? I always pass off that homeless dude on the street. Homeless vet. Yeah, how come you ain't helping them? Well, they're probably phony. Well, have you asked? Well, yeah, you don't want to ask because they might say yes. And you don't have to commit. Come on, man.
It's like, what would you say to the vet who put his life on the line so you could have the right to disrespect that flag? It's like, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, that's what everything's built on. Believe me. I've said Nazis need the right to, until they starting some real shit, they have the right to free speech too. This is what, everybody wants to talk about America.
Fuck yeah. Sorry. Couldn't help it.
This is, and what's really insulting about it is that the NFL is 70% black players. Mm-hmm. And don't think that Trump doesn't recognize this and uses this to try to talk code to his support groups or his support base. And if you don't think that a lot of people see this and they don't know, and they don't notice how this system is, remember Donald Sterling?
Oh yeah.
And we'll talk. Damn, it looks like his stomach is blowing a bubble right now. But wasn't
bubble yum?
Yeah, it's like he got a mouth down there that just chew bubble gum and just blowing a bubble right now. Big fat jar, Pepto-Bismol. But this right here, when I talk about Donald Sterling in a little while, if you don't remember, I'll remind you. But this whole thing with players being told to be quiet, he looked at this base right here, 70% of NFL players being black, and you can't tell me. That's why I'm saying, don't fall for this. Y'all talking about Trump is stupid. That's a weapon that he's probably using. This man is slick, and he knows what the fuck he's doing. He goes out there and tells these people, just what I'm saying right here. Hey, you people, you come out here and try to have a good time, but those people / niggas, they are trying to keep you from enjoying yourself by being so unpatriotic.
Our great national anthem. The only thing you could do better is if you see it, even if it's one player, leave the stadium. I guarantee things will stop.
I guarantee you it won't. Ain't nobody getting up and leaving football.
Yeah.
People put football before God.
Yeah, maybe. Exactly. Football is huge. And part of me goes like, why would he try to take on football? They're a behemoth. But, they're right now, they're a little bit vulnerable. Just because of the whole concussion thing, viewership is down a little bit. You got more players. More people
Martin, the corner of Trump is massive.
Yeah, that's right.
Massive.
but football ain't going away. They own Sunday.
God can't stop football.
Exactly. People in church going like, if you don't hurry this shit up, I'm walking up out of here.
That's some ego for your ass right there. Trump think he can stop football and God can't even stop it. It ain't going nowhere.
Football has gone from Sunday to Monday and Thursday now.
And that's the insulting thing about it. When you have this percentage of people of color playing a sport, and the whole time you're talking about USA, 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 except you.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Get your black ass
Not
out there.
USA.
Run that ball. Amuse me. When you tell them that they can exercise their right
Sure.
to be Americans and also express themselves for something that is very important. You know, that's an insult. That is a true insult right there. Now, oh boy, if knees made money, man. If knees made money, we wouldn't have a problem with this. We got guns out there and can't nobody have even a high level dialogue about it.
Right.
We can't even talk about guns. Guns make so much money in this country and probably all over the world that you can shoot small children in a school and somebody gonna make a conspiracy about it.
Uh-huh.
You know, can you imagine like a parent? I lost my child in this child shooting. The little bodies were riddled with bullets. They would die instantly right there. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Well, you know, if your child was armed, he could have defended himself.
Shut up, man. Don't nobody do shit like that. Stop playing. You know, we can't even have a dialogue about that.
Right.
But once they have police brutality, you know, when somebody takes a knee, the world gets in an uproar.
Yeah, that's something to attack.
And everybody's acting like protests are something new. Like this is every time it happens, we have a new villain that's doing it. And people have been protesting with results for over a century now. And granted, a lot of it is today, a lot of it is based around racial issues. And we even forget the ones that happened recently. Now, they're not all based on racial issues. We'll get into that in a little bit, but a lot of them today we see this is not the first time. And people let it go to argue that new thing. Don't even bring up any of these old things right here. Like right here, we have the Rams, St. Louis Rams, back in 2014, when they were doing the whole hands up, don't shoot, and they all ran out with their hands up. If anybody who keeps up with sports, I don't know this team. It looks like an all-women's team, but they are the New York Liberty, and they all showed up one day with all their Black Lives T-shirts on and wore that proudly out there. And you can see it even. I have a feeling they made that white girl with it. They'll put that shit on.
Well, Black Lives do matter because that's the rest of our team.
Yeah. Only one scoring points right now. LeBron James, we brought up. LeBron James never shied from being active.
Sure.
You know, he has his I Can't Breathe shirt on when they choked out. What's his name? Brown or Eric? Yeah. What is it? Eric Garner.
Yeah. God, it's been so many. I'm like,
it's been so many, man. You lose track.
Okay, which one was that one?
And of course, back in the 1968 Olympics, that's when you had Tommy Smith and John Carlos, where they raised their hand, the Black Power symbol.
Yeah.
For the civil rights movement at the time. I love this. This is probably one of the most awkward moments in Olympic history. That white dude out down there, he's like, what do I do?
You ever hear the rest of the story with this?
Where they ended up they got suspended and they weren't allowed into the Olympic Village.
No, I'm talking about the white dude story.
Oh no, what happened?
He was fully with them. He just can't see. He didn't know they were doing that. He would have done it. He got back home to where he came from. He was ostracized, stripped of everything, made a pariah. His life went terribly after that.
You know what? I saw a video when I was looking up stuff too. They can't even give him a name. They said the story of the white dude at the 1968 Olympics.
Yeah, no, everything went horribly for him after that.
Oh, that sucks, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Shit, he probably propped his arm up permanently. Oh, you a Nazi now, huh? No. Damn, man, no. Yeah, that's a tragic story right there. But, you know, some of the things that and like we mentioned, we had Donald Sterling in there because they weren't always fighting around police brutality, which is what you saw mostly. They were fighting with racism within the system itself. Mm-hmm. Donald Sterling, who tried to walk the line, actually dating a half black chick, I believe.
Yeah, the one who ratted him out.
The one who ratted his ass out. Right, she had a conversation with him and went right to TMZ.
You don't have to have yourself with walking with black people. You don't have to. If you want to, do it.
If it's white people, it's okay?
What's that? You're on the phone. Yeah, she took that right to TMZ. You know, it's and a lot of his players, you know, the Clippers, they protested by wearing their jerseys backwards. You know, they weren't proud of this moment. They weren't proud of the owner. He got forced out.
Right. At a very good price.
Yeah, man. But a lot of this has not happened around racism. This has been for all kind of issues. It's been for feminism. It's been for religious beliefs. This woman was not an athlete herself, but she probably paid the more of a price than anybody that we've talked about, and that's Emily Davidson. You ever heard of Emily Davidson?
I'm not sure.
Do you remember that movie Suffragettes that we saw?
Yes.
Emily Davidson.
Suffragettes.
Yeah, she decided to go ahead and let's say, you know what, I'm gonna speed up this movement right here. And it was the late 19th century to early 20th century, and women were, you know, especially over in the UK, they were fighting for their rights to vote.
Yeah.
And
being real bad over there.
And being met with real violence too.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I just can't take this shit no more. And she decided to get attention by throwing herself in front of the king's horse during a race. You remember that scene in the movie?
Yes, I do.
Happy incident is running third from last.
Ooh.
And she died of her injuries 4 days later. And that got a lot of attention. You know, the horse was like, shit, I ain't going back to jail.
I got priors.
Yeah, they probably never found that horse. Man, she jumped right in front of me. I didn't see nothing. Take my insurance away. No, they noticed this. One of the things that people saw with this case right here, where she jumped in front of this horse, is that they got the attention of people who were not looking before, who were not noticing the violence that these women were meeting. Sure. It's funny because it took violence from a horse to get attention, while all these men were doing this at one time to these women. And you know, it was tragic, but it did have people take notice. On a less tragic note, there are people who are fighting for nationality, and there's a guy named, an Irish guy, Peter O'Connor. Right there. He's the one in midair right now. Mm-hmm. Peter O'Connor, he was in the 1906 Olympics, and he won the silver medal for the long jump. A lot of people said that he was the equivalent of a lot of sports athletes that we have today.
Core of his will to succeed was this need to prove himself, not just as an athlete, but as an Irishman.
Damn.
It's like Robert Carlyle.
You know what? He looks like a fucking mutant. I mean, even I'm looking at there, ain't no ground in there at all, man. You know, this guy, what happened with him was he when he went to the Olympics, Ireland was not allowed to, or they didn't have an Olympic committee. And so what they did, or what he did rather, is that he just hopped up on a flagpole and tore down a British flag, because they wrote him down as a Brit, and he replaced it with an Irish flag.
He just jumped up there.
Yeah, he just jumped there. I mean, he didn't climb. Yeah, he just Shit, you sure he's Irish? You ain't got no French in him, because he looked froggy right there. Even Michael Jordan, like, God damn, man. You know, this is a guy who was fighting for his nationality, and you know, and it had to do with a flag, but he felt like he was underrepresented, and he climbed a flagpole, or hopped on a flagpole, and put his representation up there. Again, having people stand up and take notice. Some people, they fight for their religious beliefs, and probably one of the most famous ones, Muhammad Ali. For some reason, they still think that his cause was racial, but it was really over his beliefs. Sure. You know, he did not want to go to Vietnam, because he was a Muslim, and he didn't feel like the Viet Cong was doing him any harm.
My conscience won't let me go shoot my brother, or some darker people, or some poor, hungry people in the mud for big, powerful America, and shoot them for what? They never call me nigga. Just take me to jail.
She just got tired of talking. Shit, I'm tired of myself. Just take me to jail, shit. You know, it's, and that brings me up to what you were probably talking about. You know, this whole thing with kneeling, with and years after Muhammad Ali, you know, fighting for your belief. That's who we have. Is this the guy you're talking about? The guy that used to play for the Denver Nuggets?
No. I was just no. That's not what I'm talking about.
Mahmoud Abdul Rauf is a guy that sat out during the national anthem because he felt like it went against his Muslim beliefs. It's one of the things where he was catching a lot of heat, and he had to make a bargain with I believe the NBA in order to kind of stick to the beliefs. They said, all right, you know what? How about if you just stand during the national anthem and you don't have to look at the national anthem? Like they said, you just close your eyes and look at the ground. Yeah. But you got to stand up.
Yeah, that's like that whole thing with prayer in school. Like, well, while everybody else prays, you can just have a moment to yourself. Like, or you could just not do that.
How about I just don't do shit? You know?
Well, how about let these motherfuckers pray on their own time?
Yeah.
When they're not at school.
Yeah. You know, it's this is, like I said, it's nothing new.
No, what I was talking about was with the NFL. The players used to just hang in the locker room until after the national anthem was sung.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it wasn't until 2009 when there was this whole edict about like, well, it'll be more patriotic if you guys are out there and then stand and you know and put your hand over your heart to the flag. Yeah. And they were just kind of like, okay, shit, yeah, okay, why not? Yeah, if it makes the country feel better, sure. Yeah. So now to turn it into a whole thing where no, you're obligated to do that, it's like, why?
No, that's the thing with this country, man. You know, it's nobody's saying America hasn't made advances. I mean, surely they have. I mean, I've seen it with my parents. I see it with myself. I mean, definitely. I mean, it's a different place than it was 30 years ago. However, you know, we still have this false idea of what patriotism is, which is America the free, as long as it doesn't make me mad. Yeah. You know, as long as it doesn't offend me. And you know, that's what it really comes down to. I mean, this whole thing of being brainwashed where you can't question something, that's why these people are kneeling. It's not because they hate America. Sure. It's because if anything, they want to make America better. And with the power that these players have, you know, everybody wants to see them run a ball. Everybody wants to see them perform. Everybody wants to be entertained about them. But the moment they open their mouths and try to do something that will change the world for the better, everybody's like, man, just shut up and run. You know,
yeah. Be a good slave.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, man, you watch these fantasy football drafts, and I swear, I was like, this is so much like a slave auction. You guys don't even know.
I know. Damn, why you checking his teeth, man?
You know, I'm sorry, not even just the fantasy football drafts. This is football drafts in general.
Why you connecting them to a wagon? What does that have to do?
That's the next. Somebody, they should just set that up. Just do it. Just to point it out. Like, we're still gonna go through with this, but just so you can see the parallel here.
Yeah. Why are they picking cotton right now? Well, where else do you think that jerseys are gonna come from? Come on, man. Don't ask stupid questions.
He's got a good record on catches and run-ins, and he picks a lot of cotton.
Yeah, we all should speak up. I'll end it with this. I don't want to be on a soapbox, but we all should speak up against anything that we feel is an injustice to anybody, and not do things that we do blindly, like blind patriotism, just because we feel like we were forced to do it. That's not what America's about. And when somebody takes a kneel like this, stop being upset over superficial things like a song and a flag. Ain't nobody shooting a song. Ain't nobody whipping or brutalizing a flag. A flag is a goddamn shame when the flag is safer than a human being in this country.
Plus, if you have a flag right now, I'm pretty sure if you check the label on it, you'll see it says made in China.